Hi friends, welcome back to the second installment of my anime review series where I'm currently watching through My Hero Academia, some seasons for the 9 millionth time, and others for the first. As always, my name is Jessica, and I can't enjoy things like a normal human being. So grab a snack and some water, and let's chat about it. This is what happens, guys, when you leave AMA from a hospital. The second episode of My Hero Academia begins where we left off, with Midoriya asking All Might if he can still be a hero even if he doesn't have a quirk. Keep in mind, All Might is Midoriya's inspiration. Midoriya isn't necessarily at the point of, I want to wear All Might's skin, but if we gave him a little bit longer with more trauma, I'm sure he'd get there. Midoriya's like, can I ever be a hero like you? And All Might's response is,
without a quirk?
What do you mean without a quirk? No, bitch, I'm gonna go steal one. Yes, without a quirk. What the fuck?
Immediately after, All Might deflates, and we get our first look at his hottest form yet, Small Might. Midoriya is too busy yapping to notice that there's a literal skeleton man standing right in front of him where All Might just was.
But you know what?
Midoriya has no spatial awareness at all. Like, my guy, it is not the time for this. Can you please just shut the fuck up for a minute?
Cut to Bakugo and friends being a literal band of delinquents, talking about how maybe you were a little harsh with him today, as if Bakugo didn't tell this precious baby to go kill himself less than an hour ago.
Yeah, you were a little harsh with him today.
A little?
For getting in my way.
He literally told him to jump off of a building.
But I can still try my hardest, can I?
This is the kid that he's like, he got in my way. And you told him to kill himself. That's a crazy overreaction, by the way.
Bakugo then defends his actions by being like, well, someone needed to teach him how the world works, which is kind of ironic because he then ends up being attacked by the sludge villain himself, who's about to teach him how the world actually works.
Hey, what's that?
Perfect. I like a skin suit with some fire.
Someone put this guy on a list. Please, he's too obsessed with these kids.
We don't get to see this play out, though, because the scene cuts back to the roof, where Midoriya is acting like a man who just saw his Tinder date take off her makeup.
Hot. Smash.
All Might goes to explain that this is his true form, Smash, and that his buff form is like a guy who's flexing his muscles all the time. During this conversation, he's actively spewing blood out of his mouth.
You know how guys at the pool are always
All Might gets so pissed, he also tells Midoriya to jump off.
All Might goes on to describe a big fight that took place 5 years ago that nearly destroyed his respiratory system and left him without a stomach.
The surgeries have pretty much worn me out, and it can't be fixed.
Damn, for free?
It's revealed that he's only able to do hero work for about 3 hours per day. The rest of the time, he's in his sickly form. Someone would honestly need to keep me away from this man with bear mace.
This is your man.
Yes.
Look at the screen.
That's mine.
All Might then, in all his infinite wisdom, absolutely destroys the hopes and dreams of this literal child who just poured his heart out when he tells him that no, he could never be a hero like him without a quirk.
So no, I honestly don't think you can become a hero without a quirk.
That would be my 13th reason, by the way.
It's not bad to have a dream, young man. Just make sure your dreams are attainable.
It's not bad to have a dream, but just don't dream big.
Leaving Midoriya on the rooftop, All Might then discovers that the bottles that were holding the sludge villain are no longer in his pockets, and there are explosions that can be seen and heard on the other side of the city. This is not super ideal because All Might has run through his hero time for the day, which was conveniently just explained in the last scene.
I'm gonna be totally for real, he's such a little cutie patootie.
Midoriya sees these explosions and is excited to get into the action and find out which heroes are going to show up, but he has a PTSD flashback to seconds prior when All Might literally decimated his hopes and dreams.
I'm gonna be totally honest, Midoriya is way stronger than me because if this was my lived experience, and I was laughed at and then told to jump off a building and then attacked by a villain and saved by my favorite hero, and then my favorite hero turned around and told me that the thing I'd always dreamed of being one day, him being like, nah man, this ain't for you, I would not be on the rooftop for that long.
All Might then runs to the scene of the explosion, and if you just close your eyes,
get this man an albuterol inhaler. Like,
All Might stands on the sidelines as several heroes start leaping into action to fight the sludge villain that's trying to take over Bakugo's body. However, none of them are capable of subduing the villain because they don't have the quirks suited for the fight.
oh my god, someone help this geriatric man.
I really enjoyed this scene because it showed the realistic drawbacks of certain quirks that not all of them will be suited for every situation. Death Arms, for example, is incredibly strong, but with a sludge villain, his punches are just absorbed. The heroes pretty much just give up at this point, and they start standing around with their thumbs up their asses, hoping for another hero to show up to help.
That kid's quirk's causing explosions left and right. This is a shutout. We've got to rally and knock him out of the park.
Yeah, no, you guys, you just hang out. It's cool. This literal child has it all handled. Don't worry about it.
Side note, by the way, I absolutely love hearing the villain theme. It is incredibly iconic. It's not my all-time favorite since that one doesn't show up for a little bit longer, but this is some of my favorite, hey guys, this is a bad guy music. Midoriya walks down the street, flipping through his hero notebook and feeling sorry for himself, which, to be honest, I would feel the exact same way. He ends up inadvertently making his way back toward the fighting that's happening, and he stands on the edge of the crowd that's watching Bakugo get his karma, honestly, for literally telling this sweetheart to go die. As people start asking about where All Might is, Midoriya is blaming himself for what's kind of his fault, to be honest, and All Might is calling himself worthless.
It's okay, Pookie.
When Midoriya recognizes Bakugo as the person the sludge villain has taken hostage, this scene really solidifies his character. It's a scene that we'll see over and over again, by the way, and it takes place as Midoriya runs into danger. His body just moves on instinct. He no longer wishes for help to come, but becomes the help himself. This is much to the surprise of the other pro heroes, All Might, and even himself. Despite it being the second episode, this whole scene sets up Midoriya's heroicness throughout the rest of the series.
Dude, you guys aren't doing anything. Like, somebody has to do something.
Midoriya explains that his legs just started moving, and the hero music kicks in as All Might powers back up, inspired by Midoriya's show of heroism.
What the hell? Why are you here? I don't know. My legs.
You're welcome.
Just as Midoriya is about to get absolutely ground pounded by the sludge villain, All Might steps in to save both of them in the most unorthodox way.
I told you the traits that make a great champion, but I see now I wasn't living up to my own ideal.
Oh my god. Like, any motivational speeches or anything. Put it away. Oh my god, that would be horrifying. Like, please don't save me if you're doing that. If I was being saved by somebody who was, like, spewing blood, I'm gonna be like, man, I don't need saving that bad. Figure this out.
We then have the signature All Might victory pose that will never not make me cry.
All Might saved the day again. He's amazing.
Okay, yeah, he's cool and everything. Give me Small Might one more time. Oh! I'm not going to
After
cry.
that,
I'm
the
worse
heroes
than
collected
season
all
1
the scattered mounds
Midoriya.
of
I'm
sludge,
crying all the
and the
time.
villain went into police custody where he belonged.
Midoriya is then chastised for running into danger by the heroes who were literally just standing around. And as he's walking home, Bakugo approaches Midoriya to give him the worst thank you in history by calling him a weakling and yelling that he didn't need help. This is incorrect, since he would have died had All Might not stepped in to help him.
You're just a quirkless failure who won't even cut it as a rent-a-cop. You didn't help me. You did nothing. Don't forget it. I don't owe you anything.
Okay,
What was that?
sir, this is a Wendy's.
All Might then appears out of an alleyway and should probably be on a list somewhere because we should not be following these children around. But it's okay because he's sweet and wholesome and is Midoriya's biological father. All Might transforms back into Small Might, and Midoriya proves yet again that he would never make it in a care setting because he continues screaming about these transformations.
Because I am All Might.
Midoriya, can we please pull it together? This is just a senior citizen.
Young man.
Imagine walking
came here to
around
thank you.
and every
Also
old
to
person you
discuss your
see,
question
you
further.
start screaming.
All Might then gives one of my favorite speeches to Midoriya in the entire show and tells this literal child that he inspired him.
If you hadn't run into that fight, I would have been a worthless bystander watching from the crowd. So thanks.
Oh,
But
no,
I ran in
it was
because you're
my
my
fault he was there to begin
biological
with.
son.
I got in the way
I
of
know
your
your
hard
mom.
work. I
Very
wasted
well,
your energy.
actually.
And this kind of makes up for the conversation with him on the rooftop, because hearing that I inspired my hero would turn my entire life around.
There are
I'm not
stories
going
about
to
every
do what you
hero.
think I'm going to do,
How they became
which is
great.
cry. I'm just
Most
going to
have
get
one
quiet
thing
for
in
a
common.
minute. Yeah, me watching these
You never told me, Mom.
Midoriya then starts to cry the way that I do when I watch this anime, specifically episodes like this.
Oh my god, the
Young
animation
man,
in this show is
You
beautiful.
too can become a hero.
Stop.
Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention that this is the story of how I became the world's greatest hero.
Oh. I am unwell.
This marks the end of the second episode, so let's get into the rankings. The first category is characters. How well the characters are written, portrayed, and used throughout the episode, their personality, growth and regression, relationships, etc. For this category, I rated it a 9. This episode worked phenomenally well in continuing to develop these new characters that we just met last episode. Midoriya's character is once more the focus, and we see his instinctual heroism in action. It's no longer him standing up to his friend for bullying a kid, but he's now putting his life on the line for someone who has been so unbelievably cruel to him. For Midoriya, a life is a life, and he's willing to put his own on the line in order to save someone else's. All Might's character is also given so much more depth after we find out about his true form and where it comes from, but he's also given depth through his interactions with Midoriya. He goes from telling Midoriya that he can't be a hero to being inspired by Midoriya's heroism himself. We also see that All Might is not just a symbol, but a man as well. When we get a look at some of his inner dialogue during the second sludge villain attack, and he calls himself worthless and pathetic, it really adds to the humanization of his character, and it's a stark contrast to the invincible image that he portrays to the outside world. I can't think of many people in my own life, myself included, that would struggle to relate to this internal dialogue. All Might becomes a very real person to the viewer, and someone people who struggle with mental health or other invisible battles can relate to. The portrayal of being strong on the outside while battling something internally is something that's personified through All Might's character. The second category is animation. So this is how well the episode is animated, fight scenes, frames, colors, etc. For this, I gave it an 8. The animation in this episode is a step up from the last episode, especially with the Detroit Smash, the explosions from Bakugo's quirk, and then All Might's victory stance. What sets this animation apart from me, though, is the ending scene where All Might is speaking to Midoriya. The colors, the way his hair moves, and the final frame will never not get me emotional. This was so incredibly well done. Not quite a 10, since 10 will be saved for later, but definitely a 9 for me. The third category is music. So this is how well the music enhances emotion, tension, how it prepares the viewer for what's about to come, timing, impact, and the memorability of the pieces overall. For this, I gave it a 9. It's still one of my favorite anime intros of all time, but this episode is full of some of my favorite pieces of music in the anime. The villain theme, You Say Run, and You Can Become a Hero are all in this episode. I love the timing of these songs as well, but also the emotional intensity that they bring to each scene. You Can Become a Hero is one of my favorites throughout the series, and it gets me choked up when I hear it because it pulls me right back to this moment, which is the moment that changes Midoriya's life forever. The fourth category is plot. This is what actually happens and how meaningful it is to the overall story, progression, new information, plot twists, reveals, etc. For this, I also gave it a 9. This episode is one of the most pivotal in the entire series. It's truly where Midoriya's journey begins, as well as his relationship with All Might. This episode is the catalyst for everything that happens after. The reveal of All Might's true form, Midoriya's instinctual heroism, and All Might's change of heart are all major plot points that shape the rest of this series, which earns it a really easy 9 for me. The next category is pacing. So this is how the episode flows. Are there any spots that drag? Is it going too quickly? And does it feel rushed? This earned an 8. The episode moves at a really good pace, and it doesn't feel super rushed, and it doesn't feel like it's dragging either. There were moments that I found I didn't really want to leave the scene I was watching because I was so invested in the characters at that moment, but the pacing overall is really good. It just kind of keeps things moving. The next category is emotional impact. That's how strongly this episode managed to make me feel and my gut reactions. Like, did I experience any of my big emotions in this episode? For this, it earned, again, a very easy 9. This is the first of many episodes where I am absolutely a mess. The music never helps either. This episode means so much to me for so many different reasons, specifically All Might's character depth and his speech to Midoriya at the end of the episode. I get what I call nerd tears when there are big fight scenes, pieces of music that hit just right, or moments where a character has a huge moment of growth or self-discovery. This episode gave me so many of those tears because of these 3 things. Not so much a big fight scene, but the scene where All Might saves Midoriya and Bakugo while giving his speech, and then the signature victory pose right after that will always get me. So easy 9. The 7th category is my overall enjoyment. So this is my own personal subjective experience. Was I engaged? Did I have fun? Overall, what was my enjoyment of this particular episode? For me, I gave this one another 9. Again, there won't be very many episodes that will be low in my enjoyment ranking, but just like the other categories, this episode just goes above and beyond in terms of my own personal enjoyment. I was locked in the entire time, despite having seen this episode probably 24 times at this point. I'm still completely invested in every single scene. And then the 8th and final category is rewatch value. So would I want to experience this again? For episodes that I've already seen, I'm ranking how worth it was watching it again. This one, yet again, you guessed it, another 9. The rewatch value of this episode is through the roof. It's not just for enjoyment, but also to explore some of the character themes that are present in this episode. The first few times I watched this, I was so focused on the story overall, especially Midoriya. And as time went on, I realized just how important All Might's character is to me, and he became much more than just a side character in Midoriya's story. He's someone who struggles with his own limitations and someone who has been fighting a battle for years that no one can see. Watching this more than once was able to give me a much deeper appreciation for All Might's character and what he represents in my life as well.
Listen, I would never ask for a weakling like you to help me.
Oh my
Don't think
God,
you can
you're
look down on
welcome.
me.
The overall rating for this episode was a 9. Overall, this episode was near perfect to me. It has action, plot development, character growth, and so much emotional depth. It's the episode that hooked me completely because the first episode did a great job laying the groundwork as we discussed before, but this was the episode that made me fall in love with the series and decide that this was going to be the one that I continued with. The depth of this episode is what makes it so special to me because when All Might recognizes Midoriya's potential to become a hero, it's not because of physical strength, but the strength of his heart. All Might has come back to his roots and realizes that this is what it truly takes to be a hero. It's also another moment that comments on real life heroes. We don't have superpowers, but we do have the power of choice. Midoriya's choice to act in the interest of others, despite his fear and limitations, is what makes him a hero. We also have that choice to make in our own lives, to look the other way and hope someone else comes along to help, or to step in ourselves and become more than we thought we were capable of. In moments like those, what do you do?
There are stories about every hero, how they became great. Most have one thing in common. Their bodies moved before they had a chance to think, almost on their own.
As always, thank you for joining me, friends. Next time, we're delving into episode 3, Roaring Muscles, where Midoriya learns that the next steps toward becoming a hero isn't what his heart can do, it's what his body can do. Until next time, though, stay hydrated and take care.